Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Little Blue Fly. If this is your first time visiting, welcome, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel. It's as simple as tapping that subscribe button, making sure to select all to even receive my community posts when I put them out after you have tapped that notification bell. It's been a couple of weeks since I have posted videos, and it's because we've been out in the backyard we're actually getting a fence put in our backyard now. We have the front up, now we're going into the back, and we're just cleaning everything up, taking out all the shrubs, having tree removal services out here, and just we're going to start fresh and new with our backyard because, well, you'll see. It's going to be quite fun back there. My husband's actually going to be putting a train back there, and it's just many different wonderful things. But anyhow, I decided, since I've been gone for such a long time, to give you guys a really good decorating video. And so we're going to decorate this entire dining room area. So that being said, let's begin, shall we? So today will be 4 different vignettes, one of them being a window vignette, and then I will be doing a tablescape right here on this wonderful whimsy table that was painted by me quite a few years ago. It was actually a labor of love, but it really turned out wonderfully, I think. Many of these items in here were actually thrifted as well. The 2 lamps came from Horchow. The mirror was actually thrifted off of Facebook Marketplace, as well as the console table underneath. I painted that table and distressed it and added in some of the gold detail right there where it's metal up front. The chest in the back, the small one, came from the at-home store, and in the corner, that corner cabinet, was a Facebook Marketplace find. And the chandelier is Pottery Barn. Phew, I think I got all that covered. So we're going to start right here in this corner hutch. Again, this was a Facebook Marketplace find. So I'm going to start things off with this, they're called many different things, but I call them butt baskets. And this is actually a reproduction. I purchased it many years ago in California, and it's going to have a forever home up at top of the hutch. And then I placed a cake stand next to the basket because I'm going to place this sweet Facebook Marketplace find copper. It's actually a vintage copper lamp. It came with a different shade. I just used one of my older silk shades to put on top. But I'm going to place it right up at top just to give that nice light. And as you can see, it fits perfectly and just gives that wonderful warm glow right there in the corner. Next up, we have this sweet little vintage creamer. I just recently purchased this off of Facebook. I love Facebook Marketplace. And then I added some greenery into the basket. This was purchased from Hobby Lobby. And this faux floral was purchased from Merrifield Garden. I actually just recently went to another location and they had more. So I'm showing you this tag and the numbers on back because maybe Some of you can find this online. I haven't been too successful just because it's such a pretty faux floral to work with. So it is a sedum. I actually used quite a bit of this in my hallway in the baskets. So I just placed it right in the center, a cluster of them, along with some berries and some moss. Love mixing the moss with the faux floral, so just to help it look a little bit more natural. So I'm done up at top. And before I start working on the inside, I used to have mirrors, if you remember, on both sides, but now I'm changing that up. And this was by complete accident that this happened. I actually leaned something up against one of the mirrors here on the wall, and the lighting, here they are. It's my topiaries that I just recently aged with the gold gild and the glaze. And I absolutely love them in this area. This is such a old world feel to me. Old world, French country. I just love it. Forever home. The basket, the lamp, the stand up there, these two prints, they are going to be staying right there, always. Now we're going to go on inside, and I'm going to place in this basket. I actually made this a couple years ago. I have a spring video out on this DIY bird's nest basket, excuse me. I also painted the eggs on the inside, the ones in the back, not the one up front. And I just added some blueberries and moss and bark, and again, it is a DIY bird's nest basket. If you're interested in learning how to make one of these, they're really fun and super simple. So I'm just placing it off over to the right. Any color that gets placed in this hutch is going to be fabulous because it's black. This was a Facebook Marketplace find. A blue and white plated. Actually, it has markings on the back, Portugal. And it was just a different, shape and style, and I decided I like this a lot. So I purchased it off of Facebook. That light's glaring down a bit on it, but when I do my closer look, you'll get a better look at it. And then this is one of a pair that I just purchased this spring from lilliangray.com. She has fabulous blue and whites, green and whites, pink and whites. I fell in love with these bunnies when I saw them on her site. So I'm placing one up at top because the other one is actually in my living room. And now it's time to bring in some Arthur Court. Absolutely love Arthur Court. This is a vintage retired rabbit tray, as you can see. Many different sweet bunnies all over. Facebook Marketplace find. And again, I don't limit myself to an area. I keep my searches wide open. I just type in Facebook Marketplace what I'm looking for, and if I find it, I have it shipped to me. The Arthur Court marking is down on the right hand side, and this platter can actually be used this way as well. That's why I love this piece. Just tucking it right in the back. And I like the touches of the silver with the warm golds and of course the blue and whites. This plate was purchased from Home Goods just recently. I'll show you the back. Just in case there isn't any more at Home Goods, you can look up the name of the plate. I doubt it if you're gonna get it for the $5.99. Home Goods is amazing on their pricing when it comes to plates. And these blue and whites, it's my new love, I guess I should say. So I place them on either side of the rabbit platter. And I'm going to place in this wicker basket down at the bottom. And this was purchased from Bed Bath & Beyond. I love working with the wickers. They go perfect with the French country and the old world look. And I placed in some more plates, my leftovers down below. I was only able to purchase 6 of these plates, and then I have my silverware over to the left and some candles to the right. And now we have some little visitors here, quite a few different bunnies. I love the aged silver look on these pieces. This one came from Michael's and the other 2 from TJ Maxx. And I'm just going to place them about. And then I added a couple, well, 3 smaller ones up front, and then later on I will be adding something else on to the center shelf. So now we are completed with the corner hutch, and we're gonna move our way on down. And we're gonna work right here on top of this black chest that was purchased from the at-home store. I don't have anything for my wall yet. I'm not quite sure what I want to put there on the wall. I'm thinking maybe like a flat, old world, primitive looking plate rack maybe, and I can display some pretty vintage plates. I don't know. But for right now, we're going to build on top of the chest. And we're going to start with this Mackenzie Childs 3-tiered serving tray. This was actually purchased through Shop HQ, which made it very affordable because I can make, whenever you order through Shop HQ, you can make payments. You don't have to give them the big chunk all at once. But this pattern, the Flower Market, is my most favorite out of all of them. I really like the black Flower Market. And then this is the green pattern, Flower Market. It has such a nice English cottage green to it. And then down at the bottom is the courtly check. Next, I added in my black Swedish ivy and I placed it inside Mackenzie Childs pie plate. I just love adding the just little touches of Mackenzie Childs here and there, just to put it just brings in the fun to an arrangement. Now I will be adding something in the back of the plant. So as you can see here, I have many lampshades on my table, and I took them off from above from my chandelier because it's a really stormy day outside today and there isn't much light, so I'm trying to bring in to get as much light as I can in this room while I'm recording. So I took them all off so I could get some decent lighting. So I decided to place this vintage lamp here in the back, and it just sort of looks kind of sad, like, okay, I'm hidden, no one can see me. And we're about to change that a little bit by adding in this cake stand that was purchased from Home Goods. I'm going to show you what a difference just adding one little stand can make. And there we have it. The lamp it's standing up. It's bringing forth great light up on the wall, all over the plant. You can definitely see it much better, and just by placing it on that one little stand. Now to figure out what I am going to be adding up on this wall above. Maybe a plate stand? I don't know. Landscaping picture, maybe? A landscape picture with a highly ornate frame? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to work over here now with the mirror and the black console table. Both of them were thrifted off of Facebook Marketplace. The lamps were purchased from Horchow. So that's Horchow, HORCHOW.com. Horchow.com. You can go on there and they have many wonderful lamps. Now I'm trying to scoot this tray around the camera. I have a big wall right here. And as you can see, this is a pretty substantial piece. It's quite large. It's a silver tray, highly ornate tray from Pottery Barn. This tray just, to me, just screams class. There's so much class to this tray. And I love to mingle the silvers with the golds. It just gives a nice old world look and feel. Here is my blue and white vintage porcelain pedestal stand. This is from Bombay. It was not Facebook. This was an eBay. I believe this was an eBay find. Loving the blue and white. Just look at that. It just screams French country. So much class to this. I'm just loving this new look. And look who came to visit. Do you remember Florence Featherbottom? She was purchased from Merrifield Garden, and she thought that she would come and hang out with us this spring. Adding in a nice plaster texture to this setting just really brings in that extra, old world French country feel to this vignette. Now I'm going to bring in a house plant that was purchased from Lowe's. What I love about this plant is all that raspberry color. The raspberry with all of the variegated green. The leaves are nice and wide. It already came in a pot. And the color just looks great up against all the black. Now, this next plant, I wanted a little bit of height. I knew exactly where it was going to go. And I thought the green would really make things stand out. And then it also came in this plaster pot with moss already in it. So that's pretty much a win-win. You see the difference that it made just adding that little green variegated plant in the back? I love it. It just really lightened things up back there. This next piece, it is a mud pie cloche. Many of you have been asking about it. Just Google mud pie cloche and some should come up. I believe they go for around $45 because it's a pretty well-made cloche. I placed it inside the pedestal stand with a couple orbs, And next up, I'm adding some faux plants to pull from the color of the real plant that is on the tray, to sort of just spread it out on the table. And as you can see, they pulled from the raspberry colored plant in the center on the tray. And now below, I am going to be adding something wonderful. And it will be here forever. So this piece is not going to move, and it is my antique copper pot that was thrifted off of Facebook Marketplace. Today the lid is on, but I'm going to have times where the lid will be off and I will be decorating out from the pot. Just not in this video. Now to see what do we have inside this fragile box. Well, it's something that pretty much, I can tell you this, it's going to demand attention, that's for sure. I'm going to carefully unwrap this piece, and it is my vintage lusterware. Lusterware just, to me, it just demands attention. It says, it tells you, you're going to look at me. You have no choice. You will look at me. So I'm going to unwrap all the pieces, and now that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to look at them, all of them. Each piece is so unique. Each handle is different than the other. The majority of them have gold going around the rims of the saucers and the cups. I love the pedestal feet that all of them have. A few of them have circles at the bottom, which is so different. There's one right there in the back. The feet are circles, and the handle as well. Now, I will not be drinking from these. These are teacup dusters. No drinking from the lusterware. From the regular vintage and antique teacups, yes, but not the lusterware. Instead, I'm going to be placing them right here inside this canister that has a crown top. That was purchased from New River Pottery. So what I decided to do is just stack teacups on top of one another. I won't have to worry about dusting that often because they are inside this cylinder with a lid, which is great. And again, as you can see, they just, lusterware demands attention. That's all I can say. They love attention. So I place them in my windowsill during the afternoon when the sun comes through. It just is going to bounce off of these teacups, and just, they're going to be a sight to see. So on either side, I placed in a couple of concrete candle stands that were purchased from Merrifield Gardens, because I need these lowboy terracotta pots. Now, I don't know if they're called lowboys. I just call them lowboys because they sit down low than your regular terracotta pots, and they're just a bit wider. But I needed them. They had to have some height. That's why I'm using the candle stands. As you can see, the height is really nice. It worked out perfectly what I was trying to go for. Just, if you need something just to be a little bit taller, place it on a candle stand. And to warm things up, I am placing in a couple of moss bunnies. And as you can see, that's exactly what they did. They warmed up the bottom of this window vignette. Now we're going to talk a little bit about my harlequin table. I actually hand painted this myself. But first, I would like to share with you my flower market placemats. I have been decorating with them for quite some time, but I just wanted to share with you the colors on top of the table. And we will also be taking a closer look down at the bottom. So for those of you that are new, this definitely was a love-hate relationship. I painted this entire table with acrylic paints, some chalk, and did paper transfer, locked everything in with some polyacrylic, and added some embossed leather material around the tabletop. And I just want to point out just the different colors and the floral, basically anything that you put on top of harlequins is just really going to stand out and just give that I think that wow factor. Love the wow factor. And touches of whimsy, always touches of whimsy. So as you can see, I'm using round placemats. They were purchased from Bed Bath & Beyond. And these porcelain Ralph Lauren plates, I believe they were purchased from Home Goods. Home Goods always has the best prices on table settings. Now next, because I am using my vintage china, I must use my linen. That just is a requirement because I'm using my fine china. Now, Mother, you know, she comes from the old world, from Germany, and she taught her daughters, when you use linens, you are to iron them, whether it is a napkin or a tablecloth. A linen is not to touch a table, any table, without being properly pressed. As you can see, I purchased these from Williams Sonoma. And they are wonderful, wonderful linen napkins. So I will just be placing one over the plate, and then I will add my china plate right on top. Now, what I love about these pieces, it has a silver trim going around the inner part of the rim and the outer part. This is for every piece: teacups, bowls, plates, platters. I think Mother knew all along what she was doing. She says, I'm going to get my Bevy to love the rose as much as I do. And you know, she won. I absolutely do. I love the rose. So I made this from just, you know, I think this is a grapevine type of wreath purchased from Hobby Lobby. The inside of the wreath is cut out to where you just have the outer edge. And then you pull the two apart. You cut or untie it. And I wanted it to be a little bit taller. I just didn't want a flat wreath. I wanted more dimension. And I think I achieved that. And I added in some ivy and berries and a green sash ribbon that was purchased from Hobby Lobby. And I placed it right on my table. That's right. A wreath doesn't always have to go on a wall or a door, but it can go on a kitchen table if that is where you want it. Now this piece was purchased from Home Goods many years ago. It is my silver bunny platter. We went and picked up our items from California, and I'm excited to be able to use it again. And as you can see, it went perfectly over the wreath. I love how the green is added onto the table with the berries. It's just really warming things up. Now I'm going to add another cake stand on top. And that was purchased from Home Goods. Next is this crystal glass that was purchased from Home Goods. Again, if you're looking for a nice table setting, always try Home Goods first, because they're going to beat out anybody, Pottery Barn, Williams Sonoma, and you still can get very nice items. And next up is this teacup, because we all love to have our tea with our sweet treats after dinner. We're definitely tea drinkers in this house. I just found these two candlesticks. I believe I got a good deal, $40 for the both, and they are sterling silver. I'm going to keep them tarnished because I love to, as you can see, there's the sterling. The plates are very nice, so now I want to bring it down a little bit and make it look older by adding in some tarnished candlesticks for the perfect touch with some buttercream taper candles. And up front I have a little votive cup because that candle is scented. It is apple blossom, and I'm going to add another in the back. So it is the root candle. I love their scent. Beeswax blend, apple blossom. Then up at top, I placed back on my lampshades, and I added a bunny garland, and I warmed it up a bit. It was a soft yellow color. And so I added some of my glaze and wiped it off with some, did a little bit of dabbing to give it the aged look. Okay, so like I stated, I'm just gonna work with 2 trays here to place the sweeties on because, ouch, sorry, ow, I just smashed my finger. We have birthdays coming up. So London, my youngest, is turning sweet 16 at the end of the week. And at the beginning of next week, the week after is my birthday. So we have a lot of birthday cake that's going to be coming through the door. So we just thought that we'd keep things simple and light for today. And here it is, little mini white chocolate 3-layer lemon and raspberry cakes, and down below some madeleines with mixed berries, just waiting for that fresh dollop of heavy whipping cream. Yummy. I put together a simple flower arrangement. I put it inside my Arthur Court pitcher and made a candy plate. We make them every year. We even kept this a little bit light because of everything that's going on, all the birthdays. And then over here to the right, I have this little puzzle of 2 sweet little friends playing together in the garden. Every Easter, Mama used to buy the girls small little puzzles like these, and we would put them together. She really enjoyed doing that with the girls, so we're keeping that tradition alive. And maybe next year I'll be able to find jelly beans because they weren't out there this year. And over here I have some more, a couple large platters and serving bowls, and then another bunny cake stand, And then further over to the left is the mixer that's getting ready to start whipping together our mashed potatoes for dinner. And I hope you all have a wonderful Easter.